Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Yeah. This isn't going to be some horrible thing where we find out she's grooming her for some horrible, I don't know, ritual or... I mean, just... Is this going to be horrible? This is going to be horrible, isn't it? That was an interesting conversation. I suspect there may actually be a number of interesting conversations to be had around here. The Ascalon Club is there, isn't it? That's probably what I'm... I mean, if anything was the meeting place of vampires, that would be it, right? I mean, that is definitely it.
Support the equality between
Clothing.
men and women.
Oh, no, right. Okay, I originally came around here to find out who the hell...
Please, sir, whether you need to buy something or not, I'm happy to help.
Okay, so you're a shopkeeper for... Is this just groceries?
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reed.
Welcome, Dr. Reed. Welcome to my humble shop.
Right, so this... Ooh, he might have some nice parts. He's perfectly healthy. But let's do the usual chit-chat first.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
Are you that blind? Don't be naive. Are you blind? These seem rude, but dude, it's bad.
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Would you... This man's a lunatic. Calhoun does not consider the seriousness and dangerousness of the epidemic because he's probably never been out of this nice posh area. Okay.
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Sure. Although I have specific tastes, this is true, but...
Finding a good restaurant. Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Oh, right. You really are out of touch with the times, aren't you? He likes good restaurants and succulent tables.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Yeah. A surprise for London's lone gourmet. I've got a new investigation. Oh, to find somewhere new for you to eat.
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
I definitely believe you, but...
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence.
Please, sir. This is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
How very British of you. Yeah.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Yeah. You're a loony. I like the hat, though. Definitely like the hat. And...
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
Are you... London... Yeah.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, I'm fairly sure there's more than one gourmet in London.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Okay. You're not ill. Just slightly strange. All right, let's see what you've got.
Have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Perhaps you do have good trigger parts, and it's the big ones I want, isn't it? I need the big... This is for melee weapons. This is for offhand weapons. I haven't upgraded the offhand weapons because I don't use them. I possibly should, though. I possibly should. I am going to buy... Oh, I failed to buy. There we go. What else? Right, the tiny good handlebar. I may come back for. Do you have any of the more, shall we say, flammable or poisonous things that I need? No, you do not. And can I sell anything to you? Not. I don't really want to sell anything. I don't think, because you never know when. I'm a hoarder. Essentially, that's the problem here is I am a hoarder, and I don't want to give up. Oh, wait a minute. A wedding ring, probably stolen by Seymour Fishburne from one of his victims. You know, it's kind of nice to get some money as well. Yeah, I don't like the idea of selling things that I took from interesting characters for some strange reason. You never know. Right, can I find anything interesting? They're locked.
I'm hungry. Where shall I eat tonight?
Yeah, right. Now there was a gentleman banging on doors. Yes, there was. Where the hell has he gone? Now, should I head back to talk to Lady Ashbury a little and just update? I can't help but wonder if I should also talk to Dr. Swansea before I go to speak to the Shadow Cabinet. It's like the more information I have, the better. I actually think I should do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue looking for people I've not met and places I've not seen, but I'm going to get as much information as possible before
Good
I
evening,
enter.
sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
Yeah. So, you're not wondering why I'm all pale and got bloodshot eyes then? Probably think I've been out partying.
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I don't think about it.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
Oh, no. Please don't join the pre-win. Please don't join the pre-win.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny. I didn't want to sound selfish.
Wait a minute. If you know about vampires and your friend's in front of you and he's pale and he's got red bloodshot eyes... Not putting them two and two together then, right? No, alright. Oh, you've got a wife.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
Trouble, I hope you're alive. There's trouble, isn't there?
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
Village idiot. Venus is deeply worried about the family's... Oh, he's got a migraine, I think. Yeah, Okay, he's got a migraine. But you're alive, right? Before we do that, let's...
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
Yeah, but...
What can I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
Okay. Right. It was...
How is your wife?
No, we've already...
Spent...
Right.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
I'm not the man I used to be either, mate. It's complicated.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
It's really complicated. Trust me. I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? No. It's a small detour to talk to an old friend. We'll check all of these areas later on. Let's get back, talk to Lady Ashbury, and talk to the good doctor, and find out if they have any other useful information regarding the Ascalon Club. And whilst we're on our way... I should call in to Mortimer, whatever his name, began with a G. That's blood. I should call in to his neighbourhood and get what was it I was after? I'm trying to find the suicide note, aren't I? And so no one finds it. That's kind of where we're going. Okay, what's going on? What did I hear? I heard, I don't care. Alright, never mind. Right. Oh, we can mention that we met her daughter as well. That could be an interesting point of conversation. Ooh. Ooh! And this time I've got a chance to look for clues. She's not down here. Okay then. We're looking for conveniently placed letters. 9th of May, 1913. Tonight I went with Mother visiting the sick of the East End. It had been a long time since I went in this sad part of town. To see her talking and listening to those poor people moved me beyond words. She really tries to make a difference and really tries to help these men and women. She also killed one of them tonight. Okay, this is the diary of the daughter. It happened so quickly I did not even notice she had vanished. But when she reappeared, she looked so much more alive, more vivid. I immediately knew what had just happened. She took a life, and I saw nothing. We returned home without a word. If I ever become like her, I won't feed on the dying. I will kill the guilty and the brutes wherever they hide. See, girl after my own heart, really. I mean, although to be honest with you, if someone's dying and she ends their suffering, and very often she's the person who's with them at the end, making them feel a little more comfortable. Some ways, it's almost like at least they're not dying alone, just lay on a bed, suffering. It's an awful way to look at it, isn't it? 13th September 1914. This afternoon, 2 men tried to corner me in a back alley while I was campaigning for the woman's right to vote. I called for help as loud as I could, like Mother told me. I don't know what would have happened if a soldier had not ordered them to leave me alone. He then walked me back home and tried to kiss me. I refused. He did not say a word and left. The whole story made me so sad. I was still crying when Mother woke up, after the night had come. I told her the whole truth, and she held me against her chest. Then we went to the theatre to see Dr. Fletcher and her new play. I think I'm a little bit frustrated that Mother didn't rush out and make them all pay. If I were a vampire, I would not be that merciful. I'm assuming you were a teenager at this point. 15th of September. We had a terrible argument with Mother last night as she refused once again to turn me into an immortal. When I reminded her of what had happened to me in the street with those 2 men and how things would have been different if I'd been like her, or if they had carried weapons, she simply smiled and told me that to be part of this world meant to be ready to face it. I'm not sure I understand what she means, but it drives me crazy. I left home in the middle of the night to see Emily in her house and spent the whole day there. Maybe it's time for me to leave Mother's house and live my life, just like Emily. I love Mother so much, but she frustrates me so much when she refuses to talk about my conversion. 17th of February, 1915. Tonight, I'm as sad as I am excited, for I'm about to leave the house for good. Mother has agreed to let me have my own flat in the West End, as long as it is not too far from her house. I had to promise her that I would be very careful. I told her how much I love her, and she told me she was proud of me. I understand now that she only wants me to be as strong and independent as she is. I must admit, I'm very thankful for all she taught me through these years. She made me the woman I am today. Now it's time for me to choose where to go from here. Whatever I'm going to do with my life, it's up to me. All I know is this: if I ever choose to become an immortal, it will not involve my mother in my choice. I will not involve my mother in my choice, but this is my life, and I'm responsible for my actions. So she might try and find another vampire. And then... that could be interesting, couldn't it? Charlotte is still hoping to become a vampire despite her mother's disagreement. She's going to ask me. She's going to ask me, and if I agree to it, her mother's going to be unbelievably irritable. Yes, she is. I mean, what would I do? What would I do if she asked? He says, looting the lady's house. I am a terrible person. But I'm still looking for... There's Lady Ashbury. What's she doing? Wait. I should go talk to her first. I want to see if there's any other hints. Things that I am missing. Clues. Locked. Interesting. Alright. Any notes hanging around? It's amazing that nobody bothers when I start reading things. Only a few of us remain after the shock of the Great Hunt. I was one of them. I remember how the sudden attack of the enemy caught us all by surprise. Blood was shed during those few nights. Some of us who survived chose to exile. This is an Ascalon Club letter. Alright. I don't blame them, but I regret their lack of fortitude. For it is courage we need to protect the interests of the Empire, courage we need to defend the values we stand for. May we all remember that William Marshall himself never lowered his head. My beloved Maker may be long gone now, but his presence is still amongst us. We keep a few drops of his sacred blood to remind us what we were and what we seek. Honour, purity, and excellence. Is this guy that I keep meeting, this vampire spirit, ethereal, whatever it is. Is it William Marshall or something? Okay. I had the privilege of speaking with the knight many times as his progeny and as his friend. He spoke to me of the tear of angels, the holy beverage supposed to appease the inextinguishable hunger we all feel. Tear of angels! Oh, that's a way for us to never need blood. We could be immortal, but we would not need blood. That he never ceased to search, even without knowing if such an artifact exists. I admired his tenacity, and it is this tenacity, this indefectible belief in something bigger than us that will make us survive any future great hunt launched by our enemies. Ascalon will be rebuilt, always, for it is an ideal. From the Lore of Ascalon by Lord Redgrave, founder. Interesting. That is interesting, isn't it?
Hello again, Jonathan. To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
Sorry to disturb you again, but could you spare me a few minutes?
Of course, my dear. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Right, yeah, I just have this feeling you've got
Concerning
something
your investigation,
else
Yes?
to tell me.
are you truly seeking to identify my maker?
I cannot promise you anything, but yes, I am conducting some research of my own.
Well, let's talk about the epidemic.
Do you know if the epidemic has affected many people in the West End?
I confess I've been more concerned by events in the East End. The wealthy have more efficient ways of dealing with infection.
But this is no common epidemic.
That is true. I must tell my daughter to stay at home for a few days, but the girl is stubborn and fiercely independent, much like her mother.
Right, yeah, I've met her.
Do you think we shall ever see better days? Or at least better nights?
I know not, Jonathan. I have seen some horrid days in my long lifetime. Experience has taught me that one cannot outrun the fates.
Really?
Will you tell me your story one day, Lady Ashbury?
One of them, perhaps. I have had so many lives, Jonathan. Eternity may not be enough to relate them all.
I need to know how old you are.
When all of this is over, the war and the epidemic, we could leave the city for a while. Travel around Europe, you and I.
Traveling is always so complicated for us poor creatures of the night. But yes, I would be glad to travel the world with you, my dear.
Yeah, this... I'm also a little suspicious of how someone this ancient has quickly, you know, not, I wouldn't say fallen for me, but seems to be very, very fond of me. I know I helped her out once.
Goodbye, Elizabeth.
That's not quite as useful as I thought it might be. Perhaps the doctor will help. However, I have to say, the information in that letter was pretty enlightening. So I think it was worth it to come back just for that alone. And now I need to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. Right, we're just going to go straight across a bridge here. And I do have this. Oh, wait a minute. Find an exceptional restaurant for Calhoun Russell and locate Emily's house. Yes, before we do this, though, I just want to finish off this one. Right, let's go to their house. It is down there. I'm still expecting some visit. Why do people keep putting barricades up? It's that way, but I saw something. Yes, I did. And whenever I see something, I usually want it. I'm kind of spoiled like that if you think about it. Ah, right. I've not slept for a while, so in actual fact, this area's probably going to be Where is their house? Because that's my safe house, isn't it? That's my safe house. I'm pretty sure that's my safe house. Maybe around the back? Probably around the back. That's rats that I'm hearing. Honestly? This is a safe... Oh, no it's not. Well, it is. It looks like a safe house, but it is also the Goswick's flat. Apparently I can use it as a safe house. All right, then. I'm guessing this means it's mine now. It doesn't look like they're ever going to come back, does it? Was this it? My dear mother, when you find this letter, I'll be gone. I want you to know that I don't leave because of you. I leave this world because of the crushing weight that existence puts upon me. These times are too much for me. Sometimes I feel like Baudelaire's verses have been written as an echo from my own heart, when the low, heavy sky weighs like a lid upon the spirit aching for the light, and all the wide horizon's line is hid by a black day sadder than any night. It's as beautiful as it is painful, Mother. I can't suffer it anymore. I don't want you to try and convince me, and it would only delay the inevitable, for I would do it again if by any chance you managed to save me once. Farewell, your son, Mortimer.
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust.
That's a really good... That is a good point, and if I betray his trust... that could be the very thing that drives him over the edge. Yes, it could make his mother look after him, but more likely it'll push him over the edge. And one of the things you gotta face when it comes to suicide is if someone is really determined, they will probably manage it. I think I'm going to try and trust the kid. Give him the letter, let him make his own choices and hope he makes the right choices. And by right choices, I mean the choices I want him to make, which is not top himself. Okay.
I will not let you down.
Give the letter to Mortimer's mother or bring the letter back to Mortimer. No, I'm gonna give it to the kid.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Let's just... No. Yeah, I read your letter. Sorry, mate.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about an unbearable feeling of despair while the world crumbles around you. Tell me more about it.
There's nothing more to say, really. It's hurtful, it's unbearable, and I don't ask anyone to understand what I feel.
Pain is a precious tool. Despair is a deadly poison. You're a lucky man. Pain is a precious tool. Oh! I'm wondering if when I read that passage, when I read that passage, it probably gave me some clue, and I don't remember what it was. I'm going to go with pain is a precious tool. It does, in some ways, when you feel pain, it means you're alive. Despair is a deadly poison. You're a lucky man. That sounds like that. He's going to go, yeah, of course I am. Buh, buh, buh. Despair is a deadly poison sounds... Oh, you know what? I don't know.
The world is bleak, but maybe the pain we feel is the best compass for making it a better place.
How can we repair the world, Dr. Reed, when mankind is the biggest problem?
Ooh.
Yes, the world will be a much better place when we're gone.
Oh, see, now you're sounding like a serial killer.
I have to go now.
I'm just going to talk to the mother.
But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Okay.
I will not let
Good
you
evening,
down,
Doctor.
my boy.
How is my son doing?
Do not give the letter. I'm not betraying his... I'm not giving the letter. Should I discuss the suicide note, though? Why commits... I'm not going to give her the letter. I'm not going to give the letter. I'm not going to give the letter, right?
Mortimer is extremely vague as to his motivations for committing suicide. Tell me more about what you know.
As you say, Mortimer had no reason to die. All he said to me was that he wanted to make the world a better place, but couldn't.
A better place? He thinks people are the problem. So removing himself is one less problem.
What do you think he meant by making the world a better place?
Mortimer has always been a sensitive soul. He wouldn't talk to anyone for months after his father passed. It's like he carries everyone's sadness with him.
Oh god, he's going to try and kill everyone. Or more people, lots of people.
Why did your son feel so useless when facing the world?
I think it was more that he could only see the melancholy facets of life. He couldn't help but dwell on such things.
Alright. Let's talk about the suicide note, but not give it to her.
I have read your son's suicide note. It was not an impulsive gesture, nor was it his first attempt.
He threatened to kill himself a few times before. But I never thought he would dare to punish me this much.
Punish you? Why?
I've known for a long time he was not happy with his life. But I always hoped he cared enough to avoid making me suffer like this.
Your son could try and kill himself again, you know that, right?
You realize your son could try to kill himself again? He might succeed next time.
I think about it every minute. But I won't stop fighting for my son's future. That's how much I love him.
Prepare for the worst. You're in denial. He is lucky to have you. Of course, he's the mother. Can't tell him. Prepare for the worst. He's going to die. You're in denial. Maybe she is. But... you know what, though? The problem is... maybe it's the fact that she's so damned overbearing. Maybe she needs to be a bit more accepting. Let him off the leash a tiny bit.
Your empathy is remarkable, but I fear that your son's decision to end his life has already been made.
How dare you talk to a mother like that? Talk to me like that?
I'm only trying to be honest, Mrs. Goswick. As painful as this fatal end may be for you, you have to accept this is a possibility.
No, I'll never accept it. If my son was to die under your care, well, you have no idea what I'm capable of, Dr. Reed.
Oh, hint failed. That was definitely not the way to go. That was definitely not the way to go with her. Okay, right. Nope, that was bad. I was trying to get her to sort of, I don't know, take a middle ground. I was trying to, because I didn't want to encourage her too much to sort of keep babying him. Because honestly, I think that's part of the problem here. Yeah. Should I give her the letter if something happens to him? See, if I give her the letter, it will force her to understand this is serious.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I just don't want to betray his trust. I do not want to betray his trust. I don't. No.
I'm all right.
I feel this may be the wrong thing to do.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
But in some ways, at least then, it's his decision, not his mother's.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick. I can assure you that nobody read it but me.
Thank you. This is for you, then. For your help. And for your silence.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'll think about it. Now, please, let me be.
Okay. Out of curiosity, right, I've got all of the hints He's determined to take his life, but at least now I've put
I have to go now, sir.
the choice
But don't hesitate to
in
contact
his
me
hands.
if you need any help.
It's his choice. I've told his mother that she needs to prepare. I've been honest. If it all goes to crap, at least I can say I was honest with my patient, and I was also honest with his mother as far as I could be. Anything they do is their own decision. That is not giving me much comfort, I can tell you that.
Hello, Jonathan. Back from the city already? How is the situation over there?
Tense, to say the least.
I am sure every obstacle will cede to your relentless determination. In the meantime, can I be of any help?
All right. Lots of things to ask you.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
Oh, the legendary founder of the Ascalon Club. I'm afraid I cannot help you with that, Jonathan.
Why not?
So you do know him?
All the Brotherhood knows about him is highly confidential. He is dangerously intimate with the royal family and Britain's inner circles.
Right. Are you afraid of him?
Are you afraid of him? Is he that dangerous?
No, but since most ancient vampires were killed or fled England during the Great Hunt of 1850, he may be the oldest British vampire. A myth in the flesh, so to speak.
All right. Maybe.
Did you know that Lady Ashbury is an artist? And rather a good one.
Well, actually, yes. I attended an exhibition of her paintings before the war. Beautiful landscapes and stunning portraits. I wish I'd purchased one.
Perhaps we could go to her next exhibition, you and I.
What a beautiful idea, Jonathan. Did you know she told me once she had been a model for famous painters? But she never told me which ones.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think she's the oldest vampire in London. I really am.
What can you tell me about the Great Hunt?
A sad story, my dear friend. Tragic, in fact. The Brotherhood was betrayed by some of its most trusted members.
Why was it a tragedy?
Not only did the Guard of Prewen hunt down and kill most ancient vampires of England, they also destroyed or confiscated their possessions. Priceless knowledge was lost in just a few nights.
Okay.
Tell me about the betrayal.
The founders of the Guard of Prewen stole precious and unique documents and reports from the Brotherhood's library when they left. They used them to identify and locate their next targets.
So they betrayed you guys to do the Great Hunt.
I shall return later. Thank you, Edgar.
It's useful-ish information, I guess. I'm not totally sure whether or not that will help me with the meeting I'm about to have. But for some reason, I feel like I'm going into battle, and information is the ammunition. And I'm going to need lots of it.